Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
What the fuck? Hey, watch this. Are they moving? I can't tell. I can't see.
And now, the conclusion.
But finally, there was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was good. I think I liked it more than the second one, especially as, like, the climax and things hit. Because at first, it felt like a whole lot of nothing happened. It felt like they're just trying to rescue Rocket after he gets fucking bodied by Adam Warlock. But there's so much that goes on in the second half of the movie that it really does, like, fill out. And it's pretty good, the end. But it goes a lot into Rocket's origin and the horror of it, really, and the sadness and why he's so fucked up. It makes a lot of sense after you see that. I mean, he's taken by the High Evolutionary who's trying to make his counter-Earth, which he's, like, blown up and reset several times and does in this movie, killing a bunch of peaceful humanoid animals you kind of grow attached to, which is sad. He kills a lot of characters you get attached to that are introduced in this movie. But, like, yeah, Rocket is experimented on as a weird attempt to, like, make evolved life forms. He's more of a batch where they're just learning. Like, he even says they're making mistakes and trying to learn from them in that batch. He was never intended to actually be a higher life form himself. And he looks pretty crusty, and he has a bunch of crusty friends. An otter with robotic arms, a fucking rabbit with spider legs, and a weird guts man jaw, and an otter, walrus with, like, weird fucking mechanical eyelids and wheels. They're all terrifying to look at. And it's great, and they give themselves dumb names, and they're all looking to get out together because they've been thrown into, like, a bunch of cages after they weren't really useful anymore. Except Rocket, they wanted to take his brain out and figure out why he was able to learn when all their other creations could only, like, regurgitate, I guess. Like, Rocket could be inventive and think on his own, and none of the other High Evolutionaries experiments could do that. Which is a problem, because they save a bunch of them, and establish a society with them. So they're just idiots? It's just a society of idiots? Whatever. I mean, Earth is that. But you see, like, the tragedy behind all of his friends' death, like these weird grotesque animal experiments. You grow attached to them and then they get killed off. And then just you see some of the horror of him being made into Rocket. And he finally, like, establishes himself as Rocket Raccoon in an awesome moment at the end. The High Evolutionary has gravity powers. That's what makes him such a threat, is after Rocket escaped and fucking clawed his face off, he's like, you know what? I'm giving myself gravity powers so raccoons don't claw my head up anymore. So they're fighting, and, well, first there's, like, a touching scene where Rocket discovers a bunch of baby raccoons and frees them and realizes he is a raccoon because he sees them. He sees the label on the cage saying where they're from and what they are. So he's trying to take them all away when everybody's rescued everybody. And the fucking High Evolutionary starts throwing them around gravity powers. And he activates these boots he showed off in the beginning of the movie by walking on a ceiling because he just wanted to test gravity boots and wanted them. So he activates them. They pull him down to the ground, and he's like, I'm Rocket Raccoon. Or they fucking shoots the High Evolutionary. And then the other Guardians show up and start helping beat his ass. They, like, all fucking wombo combo his ass, and it's great. And they pull his fake face off and reveal just how fucked up Rocket left him when he escaped. It's gross, but it's awesome. He fucked him up because he was not happy when the High Evolutionary shot his otter girlfriend, Lila. There's some very real emotion in that scene when she dies. And then later on, you see he's about to die because he's succumbing to his wounds from Adam Warlock at the beginning of the movie. And you see him, like, in the afterlife talking to Lila and their other friends. And she's like, no, you can't come with. There's a purpose. So there's this really cool thing going on where more and more Marvel stuff is establishing an afterlife, too. Deadpool 2 had one, like a definite one. Moon Knight had one, and now something in the MCU established an afterlife, which is really cool. But it was very touching and emotional, and Drax was awesome in it. Like, there's a lot of cool humor about infighting because everybody thinks everyone's an idiot. Nebula is getting tired of Mantis and Drax being dumbasses, and they're tired of her being judgmental and pushy. And then she kind of realizes, like, hey, they actually have uses. Like, Mantis brainwashes, like, 3 of those monsters from the beginning of the second movie, saves them from that and has, like, control of them. Drax, you find out he can speak the language that, like, a lot of the experiment people from the High Evolutionary are speaking. They're like children, and all they say is Joob Joob, which is also what I call one of my cats. Not that one, but the white one that's probably run around a lot. English. He is very good at, like, kind of being fatherly and calming them down and guiding them, and speaks their language. And that helps her realize he could be pivotal in helping them all build a society. And Mantis goes off to do her own thing with, like, the 3 monsters. And Peter wants to go home and stop running from his mother's death and the trauma of it. So he lives with his grandpappy. And Gamora, well, Gamora starts to like the Guardians, and they kind of realize, like, she's separate from the Gamora they knew. Because the fucking Russos killed that Gamora, so that love story's gone. And they accept it. Peter moves on, and she goes to live with, like, the Ravagers and the original Guardians. Well, they were in the comics. Shut up. What else happened in this movie? There's a lot of cool action. Like, a lot of fucking awesome fights. They're hard to follow, but they're kind of made to be that way. There's a moment when, like, a bunch of Hellspawn creation things made by the High Evolutionary are set loose, and the Guardians are fighting them together, and it's just really well done. Adam Warlock's funny. He's almost barely in it. He's kind of just a bimbo because he was just created and just let loose to go capture. Well, you find out his whole purpose, and the whole purpose of them gold people was to get Rocket back. The High Evolutionary made them all and wanted Rocket back to get his brain to find out how he can make creations that learn and are inventive. Rocket helped figure out how to evolve animals without them becoming rageful beasts, which pissed the High Evolutionary off a lot. High Evolutionary was a really cool villain, too. I wish you could have seen more of him. Well, maybe you will. You don't really see him die. They leave him lying there injured without his fake RoboCop-looking face. And then the ship blows up that he's on, and who knows if he stayed on it. Yeah, that's a good movie, too. Very, a lot of heart to it. Very tragic and sad, but also nice uplifting ending for everybody. The Guardians are, like, partying and stuff, where they're establishing their city. I don't know. It was good. If I had to pick one out of the 3, I don't know if I could. I mean, it wouldn't be that fucking Batman one, because the ending just shit itself. I mean, it made the movie shit itself. Guardians and Spoderman were, I think, equally good. Full of heart and a lot of character building, and I don't know. I'm kind of sad the Guardians is over, though. None of them died. I trusted that James Gunn wouldn't do the cliche thing and make one of them sacrifice themselves. No disrespect, because he already kind of did that. But he didn't do it again. It's not his fault Gamora's dead, but he definitely handled that well. Yeah, most of them got happy endings. You know, minus the original Gamora. But there's an afterlife. Would have been cool if they showed her in that, actually, at some point. There wasn't really room to do that. There's a lot more about Rocket's origin and kind of everybody else's resolutions to their threads without anybody having to die. And there's a new Guardians of the Galaxy established with Adam Warlock and stuff, and one of them High Evolutionary children has, like, laser powers or something. I don't know. Kind of like the girl at the end of Thor: Love and Thunder. She got laser powers. Why are they just giving girls laser powers? They could do more than laser things. Well, Adam Warlock lasers things too. I guess it's kind of a thing. She didn't laser. She just had, like, a weird rainbow energy around her hands. Yeah, they're good movies. I recommend all 3, but just don't watch the end of the Batman one. And then go watch the other 2, like, 4 times. This video is like 26 fucking minutes.